Hey everybody, welcome to day number 3 of the Financial Freedom Challenge. How did day 2 go? Were you able to kind of look at this from a mental standpoint? Were you able to go ahead and set some actionable goals? Are you excited about being able to achieve those goals? Did you think about how that would make you feel if you were able to accomplish every goal that you had set? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm really excited for you. As long as you go through the steps, I can promise you that you will see results as long as you put the work in. Now, let's move on to day number 3. I'm really excited about this. This is where we're going to be starting the process. This is the day that we're actually going to go to work, and we're going to look at what debt you need to pay off. We're going to be looking at what steps that you need to take in what order to become financially free. You know, which one do you do first? Do you pay off your debt? Or do you pay off your credit cards first, or your car first, or, you know, all those different things? So we're going to be looking at all the different steps that you need to do. So I'm really excited. And in the tactics and applications, there's going to be some resources for you to be able to use that will include all of these steps, so that you can be prepared and ready to go ahead and get started. And don't be discouraged if you look at the steps and you're like, wow, this is a lot of steps, because it is 10 different steps. But some of you, depending on your financial situation, you might already be on step 3 or step 4. I mean, everybody is different. You might be starting off at step 1, and that's fine. That's not a problem. That just means that you get to enjoy the process even more, because when you financially are free and you get to step 10, it's like, wow, I finally made it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 10 different steps. And I call this 10 steps to financial freedom. Okay. So as you can see, step number 1 is going to be setting up your monthly budget. Now, this is very important because you need to know what you have to work with. You know, if we're going to know how much money you have available from your income, from what's coming in, to be able to start paying down on some debt, the only way we're going to know that is by doing a monthly budget. We need to know where your money is going. And so you're going to be doing a monthly budget from this point forward. That way you know how much money you have that you could put towards debt to get rid of it. And you might even find some things that you're spending money on that, like, wow, maybe I should cut that off so that I can concentrate on paying off my, my Discover card, right? Step number 2 is going to be listing all of your debt, smallest to largest, okay? Not largest to smallest. We're going to be looking at smallest to largest. And I'll explain why in step number 5, all right? Smallest to largest. You're going to list them all out. I'm going to put a resource below in the tactics and applications, a form that I'm going to be including as a part of the challenge that you can use to just start. You could just, you can either print it out and write it all down, or you can just sit there and do it from your laptop or your computer. And step number 3, you're going to be making minimum payments on everything. Step number 3, that's what you're going to do. We're not going to put all of your money towards, the Discover card, or we're not going to put all the money towards your the highest interest card that you have, or the highest interest loan. No, we're not going to do that, because once you start getting out of these 10 steps to financial freedom, once you start doing things out of order, or doing things that you think are more of a priority, you start to mess up the entire process, and then it's just not going to work for you. What you need to do is, once you list all of your debts, smallest to largest, you need to make minimum payments on everything, every single piece of debt you have. Then you're going to move on to step number 4, which is going to be setting up a $1,000 emergency fund. Now, this is very, very important. I can't tell you how many people I have worked with that were trying to become financially free, and they're trying to get everything organized, get their debts organized, get their finances organized, do their budget, find out what needs to be paid. And then all of a sudden an emergency happens, their car breaks down, or a family member has a health problem. All of a sudden medical bills are coming in. The roof starts to leak, and now you got to pay somebody to come out and fix the roof, and it's going to cost you $1,500. So having an emergency fund, well, let me backtrack for a second. If you don't have an emergency fund, I want you to think about the anxiety that you're probably feeling right now. That what if my car breaks down and it's going to cost me $1,500 to fix, or $1,000 to fix? Or, what if I got to have something done around the house and it's going to cost me $800? I don't have $800. What am I going to do? And you have all that anxiety. Well, if you have $1,000 emergency fund, what that's going to do, it's going to free you up, and it's going to give you some peace of mind. And it's going to give you that ability to say, you know what, if something happens, I'm going to take care of it. I've got a backup plan. That way your whole life doesn't shut down. Because let me tell you something, if a major life-changing event happens to you and you don't have an emergency fund, your whole world goes to crap. Everything shuts down. Now you are under crisis. You are under, attack. You are under so much anxiety, you can't even sleep at night. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have peace of mind. Get $1,000 safe. Why 1,000? Because honestly, the average emergency that could happen probably costs about 1,000, or at least under, right? Step number 5. Now this one is pretty awesome, and this is the reason that I want you to list all your debts, smallest to largest. All right, and that is, I want you to pay off all of your debt using something called the debt snowball strategy. Now, I got this strategy from one of my mentors, Dave Ramsey, and this is something that he teaches, and honestly, it works. Now, the debt snowball strategy is very simple. What you're going to do is you're going to make minimum payments on everything. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take all of your available resources, all of the extra money that you have, every piece of financial real estate you have, you're going to put all of that towards the smallest piece of debt you have, the smallest credit card. Let's say you have a credit card that's $800, and that's your smallest balance that you have amongst all of the other debt that you have. What I want you to do is I want you to put everything towards paying that off. Then, and make minimum payments on everything else. Once you do that, the next debt that you have, the next credit card that you have, and let's say that it's $1,500, you're going to take every resource that you have, all the additional income that you have available, that you see from your monthly budget, that, I've got an additional $500 a month, I'm going to put all of that, 100% of that, towards that $1,500 credit card. You're going to pay it off, and you're going to do that in order. Now, the reason why you do that is because when you pay off that smallest debt that you have, it's going to give you a feeling of accomplishment. It's going to make you feel so good, and you're going to feel like, wow, I did it. I'm doing something. I'm going through the program. I'm doing it. I'm making it happen. I'm making I am achieving my goals. And then what you do is you knock down another one, and you knock down another one, and you pay off another one. And all of a sudden, you're sitting here and you are so excited. You wake up every day and you know in your heart, you know that you're paying off all of your debt and you're going to become financially free. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, wait a minute, what about the highest interest credit card? What about the biggest debt that I have? Don't you want to pay that off? If all you do is concentrate on the highest interest or concentrate on the highest debt that you have, it's going to take you so long to pay that thing off. Most people are just going to get really discouraged and kind of, give up. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have, all of these miniature wins, these micro wins throughout the process. Step number 6, here's what I want you to do. I want you to save. This is once you pay off all of your credit card debt, all of the consumer debt, okay? We're not talking about the everything else category, like maybe a business loan or student loans or maybe your mortgage, or your car payment. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about consumer debt, debt that's considered not really necessary. Like your credit cards is something that you really don't need, that you need to get rid of, something that's harming you financially. And once you get rid of all of that, you're going to save up 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Now, what this is going to do is, if you have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved, like you look at your budget and you know that it's going to take $2,500 or $5,500 a month to be able to live off of, and you take that, you multiply it by 3, or you multiply it by 4, 5, or 6, and you have that saved in a savings account. If a major life-changing event takes place, you're covered. And let me tell you something, there is nothing more that you can do to give you so much peace of mind, than having a fully funded emergency fund. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to have a fully funded emergency fund in case you have a major life event. I'm talking about like you become disabled or you have a death in the family, God forbid, right? You know, you might have to take some time off from work. Whatever it may be, something major happens or a big life-changing event. And this is the most common one. Maybe you lose your job. Something to think about. What if you lose your job? What if you lose your job today and all you have is $1,000 saved because you didn't have a fully funded emergency fund? Well, if you have a fully funded emergency fund, you got 6 months of living expenses. You got 6 months to look for a job. You know, what that does is it gives you freedom. Step number 7, once you do that, you got 3 to 6 months saved. I want you to invest 15% of income into retirement. Because once you get to that retirement age, if you haven't invested in your retirement, if all you're going to really have is just a 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved and all of your debt paid off, and yeah, you're kind of financially free, pretty much. But once you get ready to retire and you don't have a retirement coming in, you're going to be kind of in trouble. So you want to be able to do that and set that up. You know, once you start saving 15% into retirement of your income, you're going to go ahead and work to pay off your home. Let me tell you something, living in a home that's been paid off and it's all yours, that's a pretty amazing feeling. A lot of my students tell me all the time that their biggest accomplishment that they have ever achieved was paying off their mortgage. And I can sit here and show you a financial graph of how much money you will save of paying your home off in 10 years versus 30. Is hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. It's ridiculous what we pay in interest to these the mortgage loans that you have. So I want to challenge you, pay off your house. And then move on to step number 9. And that is to start building wealth by investing. Start investing in real estate or invest in good growth stock mutual funds. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you're interested in, go for it. This challenge is not going to be about what to invest in. The important thing is that you become financially free so that you can invest, because that's how you really start to build wealth. Building wealth is about being financially free first and then investing and building wealth. That's what it's all about. And then step number 10, this is a really cool one. Give. You know, you're financially free, you're building wealth. The fact is if you are making $50,000 a month or $100,000 a month or $500,000 a month, and it only takes $5,000 to live off of, or $10,000 to live off of, or 30, you've got so much disposable income. Why not give? You know, whether it is to your church or to like missions, or maybe it's to charity, or maybe it's to give to the homeless, or whatever it may be. There's nothing more rewarding and gives you so much peace and happiness in your life than the reward of being able to give. So those, my friends, are the 10 steps to financial freedom. Now, this overview video, this framework video, has probably gone on a lot longer than all the other ones. But, we got 10 steps to cover. So, it's really valuable information. So what I want to challenge you to do is I want to challenge you to get ready right now, because right now we're making it real. All for you. We are making it real for you by looking at where you are on the 10 steps of financial freedom and knowing where to get started. That's very important. We're going to do that in the resources below. This is the part of the challenge we're going to be making it real for you, and where you're going to get one step closer to financial freedom. So let me ask you a question. Are you ready? Go ahead and go to the tactics and applications below, and we're going to go over some of this, and we're going to give you some resources to get started. All right, I'll see you in the section below.